everyone, and welcome to the Daily Creative Challenges. My name is Julia Masalska, and I'm going to be your host for the next whole 2 weeks of Daily Creative Challenges. We're going to be working on some really exciting stuff during those 2 weeks, and I'm hoping that you are going to be learning a lot. We're going to work on a poster series, and all the challenges will include different tools that we're going to be using. So some of you might know Balgasm. He's very famous for his specific style of creating artistic posters. So we are going to work in a similar way. We're going to do a lot of experimenting, and thanks everyone for joining in the chat. And for all of you who are here through YouTube, please join us on behance.net/live so we can also communicate there, because this is where I'm going to be reading the chat. All right, I'm going to make sure that I see you guys here. The chat. Okay. All right. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining. And let's quickly take a look at our site for the Daily Creative Challenge, and it's behance.net/challenge/illustrator. So I'm going to pull it up for you guys real quick so we can take a look on my screen here. So this is what it basically looks like, and this is our page. And again, to show you guys the link, it's behance.net/challenge/illustrator, and you will see today's challenge is already unlocked, and every single day we will be unlocking one challenge. So you can see we have a lot of challenges coming up. So here you can rewatch the video, which will be the replay of this one. And you can also click Get Started, where you get guided to our community chat, and where you can also get the starter file for this Daily Creative Challenge. So the starter file for you will look like this. And I already kind of prepared a little mock-up for you guys, so it's easier to create something cool. And of course, feel free to modify this. You will find different elements that you can kind of move around and change the way you would like to change them. Okay. And here, of course, you can also play with the, sorry, I have to log in here real quick. Here you can also play with the colors. Feel free to kind of use your own style and use your own colors. Awesome! I see you guys in the chat. Thanks for joining. I know you guys are all from different places, and I really appreciate you joining me here. I see Wade, I see Jack, Caroline, Colby. Say hi in the chat and let me know where you guys are from. It's always nice to kind of, know where you guys are tuning in from. And we have Darius, Austin. Wow, so many people. Thanks again for joining. Okay, cool. So we're going to jump right into it, and for us to make it easier, I'm going to kind of lock all of these objects. So I'm just going to select all of the objects and click Command and 2. The background might be already locked on your file, because I was kind of trying to make sure to make it as easy as possible for you guys. So for all of you who would like to kind of set up a new file or start from scratch, feel free to click File and click New, and there you will find this window where you kind of get all the different presets, and we're going to go for web settings, which will allow us to share things online, because this poster series is going to be something we're all going to be sharing and interacting with online. That's why I'm picking the web settings here. And as you can see, we have already the RGB presets, meaning it's not for print, but it's for digital publishing. If you would like to print your poster later on, feel free to set your file up in the print version, which is going to be in CMYK color mode. You can also change the color mode later on when we're already in the file. All right, so this is how here by clicking Create, you kind of already set up your file, but you can also just download the starter file. If you go onto above the chat, you will find a little link where you can download this file, this exact same one. And here I kind of already put the hashtag AI Daily Challenge, which is the hashtag we're going to be using on Behance or on Instagram, wherever you publish this challenge. And here you can also feel free to add some your project name and description. And also we have our date here. Oh no, actually I didn't add the date, but you guys can feel free and add the date. You can also add your name and, you know, to kind of personalize it a little bit better. So guys, today we're going to work with textured type. And what we want to do is we basically want to create this furry texture to a letter or to, you know, to some handwriting that we're going to do. And so I'm going to show you a couple tools that will help us, that will allow us basically to do that. Cool, Akin, good to see you. We have all the usuals here, Alberto, Pia, we have Helen from Boston, Massachusetts. Awesome, thanks for joining. Okay, cool, so let's get right into it. And I have, as I said, I have everything locked, but if you would like to change things up and unlock it, you can feel free and click Command and Option and 2. And now you can again, you know, move around all the different objects and even maybe add some of your own random objects. All right, so today basically what we're going to do is we are going, let me actually edit some of these things. So I'm going to add my name. I'm going to add Masalska, and my first name is Julia, just like that. All right, and we have this little copyright sign here, which kind of makes it mostly look like a logo. And to me, I think it's really, you know, it makes it things look more legit. So sometimes I use that. We leave that like that, and here we can edit, let's say, furry type and project name and description, creating furry type in Illustrator. Okay, but you guys feel free to add whatever you guys feel like, you know, adding. You can also go ahead and edit the colors here in the top and bottom part. So here for that, just click on this section here, and you will already get your properties panel showing you all the different things you can do with this object. If you don't have the properties panel activated, you can go ahead onto Window and then check the properties up here. Down here, I mean, so that you have this panel popping up, and there you will already have all the different settings you can do with the objects that you're selecting. So here we want to edit the gradient, let's say, and we have all the different dots already that are kind of set up for you guys. But if you double click them, you can simply edit the color here. You can just select your own color, or you can even, you know, use the eyedropper tool to copy it from any artwork or from any color palette that you might have set up. So feel free to change this up, but for now I am going to use those colors and I'm going to keep it all as it is. So I'm going to lock it back and I'm going to click Command and 2. So now my objects are all locked. I cannot select anything and everything is kind of set the way I kind of set it up. So today we're going to make the furry type, and we're going to go through several steps, and feel free if you have your Illustrator open to kind of follow along with these steps, so it's kind of easier for you to understand what we're working with. So we're going to start with creating two circles. So we're going to use the ellipse tool, and by clicking Shift we're going to drag along and you know, create a circle, and from there we are going to create a, you know, like a little gradient inside here. So it's going to be a linear gradient, and we're going to pick the colors here by double clicking. So let's say I want to use the color picker, and I can use let's say this pink that we've used at the top as well. Okay, so I have this pink, and now I want, let's say I want to edit the other color as well. So I'm using again the color picker, and I'm using a lighter tone of the pink. So let me actually make it even a little bit lighter. So let's make it even like way lighter, like this. Okay, so now we have this little gradient, and it will help us, you know, to create a little 3D dimension in our type. So we have kind of like a light side of the shape, and we have a darker side. So this one we're just going to copy paste by holding Option and Shift and clicking and dragging this circle. So now we have these two circles, and I'm going to keep them for later. So I'm just going to select them and hold Option and click and drag them to the side. I'm just going to make a copy for later. Maybe I want to create another version of my furry type. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both of these objects, and I'm going to Object, Blend, Make. So now we have a blend that basically transfers from one object to the other, and we have the transitions in between. Now we only have two transitions in here. So what we are going to do, we're going to edit our settings by going to Blend and Blend Options. So here we can see we have different settings we can set it to. So we're going to go on to specified distance, and the distance will be 1.5 pixels. So we will have a pretty seamless, long string that we can use to create our furry type. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do, we basically have set the settings for our furry type, but now we need, to get a letter, or we need to write something that we want to have be, furry. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to select the pencil tool. And I mean, you can literally draw anything, but it has to be just one long, one long line. So let's say I can make a big Y, or let's say I'm gonna make yes. Let's be a little positive today. Okay, so I'm gonna make a yes. And what I'm going to do with this yes is basically our path that our furry type is going to be following. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select both this transition here and the yes, and we're going to Object, Blend, Replace Spine. And now we have this cool thing happening here where, this gradient circle blend was translated into our path. So now our yes is basically following those things. So isn't that cool? And we can already do a bunch of things with this. We can even go in and kind of like change the size of the circles a little bit, adjust it so it's easier to kind of read. And we already have something really, really cool over here. Tunch is saying perfect. Awesome. Cool. Davagan is saying, why do we miss the end of Fresco live stream? I think we finished the stream about 5 minutes early, so I'm not sure what was going on there. Jacob is saying, hi Julia, sorry I'm late, thank goodness there is a replay. Yes, totally, you can watch the replay of this at the bottom. If you could keep on scrolling down, you will see all the replays from all the past challenges. Also feel free to participate in those. All right, what I want to do is I see there is a little thing going on. So there's a little, it's a little bit edgy over here. So I want to adjust this, this vector to adjust this path, and I'm going to go onto the direct selection tool, and I can definitely, work on this just a little bit and make it a little bit more smooth. So I can, create a very smooth path. And you can also feel free to go more into detail even. I have very limited time today, so I'm not going to be able to perfectionize it so much, but let's just go with this one. So what we want to do now is we want to go onto Effect, and we want to go onto Distort and Transform, and we go onto Roughen. And here we already have this panel coming up, and we can already see the result that is coming up over here. So let's tweak a little bit on this. Let's work and make it look really nice and furry. So we're going to add more detail here, so it looks nice and like little hairs, and we can also adjust the size the way we want it. We can make it, more puffy, or we can reduce the size of this furriness and, make it a little bit less furry, less fluffy. And I always like to add a lot of detail because I want it to look like single tiny hairs and make it look even more realistic and, nice to look at. Okay, let's see if this works for us. Yeah, I guess I'm going to reduce the size just a little bit so it's easier to read. Okay, all right, so I'm going to click yes, and now I already have my furry type going on, and I think it looks nice and fluffy. Feel free to experiment with colors, but make sure to kind of, because you can see there is this like highlighted side and there is the darker side that's kind of the shadow of the of these letters. And that is the reason for that is that we use the gradient in the initial circles. So feel free to experiment with the colors there. And let me just, thank God I made a copy of this so I can reuse these again now. And I'm going to do the same thing again. So let's try to experiment, and maybe we can make this pink color a little bit darker so the letters even get a little bit more dimension. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to go into the circle and I'm going to edit the gradient, and I'm going to take a little darker tone here. So by double clicking, you can definitely, you know, adjust the colors here. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker here on this side. And as you can see, it already kind of makes a difference between these two. This one is kind of light still. So I'm just going to remove this and copy paste that. Whoops. To copy paste something, you just hold Option and click and drag the object. So now we're gonna do the same thing again. We're going to Object, Blend, Make. And now we kind of already have the same presets that we've used before, but we can still go into the blend options and still see if that's the correct way. So the reason I picked this instead of specified steps is that, let's say we have 20 steps, and we can also put a lot of steps, which means a lot of objects that will be transitioning from one circle to the other. But the problem is that we never know how many we really need to kind of, you know, translate it into our furry type. So the easier way, or the better way in this case, is to select the distances between the different steps. So this is what we actually do here in the blend options, and we pick the specified distance instead of the specified steps or color. All right, so now let's take a look what else we can do with this. So let me move this to the side. Actually, let me move this completely to the side. And let me just make some kind of, you know, some furry little strings that I can also add into my poster. So again, I'm going to use the pencil tool. And by the way, on the right side in the tool options, you will find the settings for the pencil tool. And here you can also adjust the different, the fidelity. So meaning when you're sketching, let's say I'm going to put it on accurate, and means it will translate what I'm sketching to the exact same line that I have drawn. So there won't be no, Illustrator won't be helping me basically to creating perfect curves. But now if I select the smooth, it will help me a lot. So let's say I'm going to sketch something like this, and as you can see, the lines are already really smooth and really perfect. So that helps you to kind of, when you're handwriting something, it helps you to create perfect curves and, you know, to make it look more seamless. So let's say I want to make my furry string this shape. So I'm going to select my blend here, and I'm going to select my curve, and I'm going to Object, Blend, Replace Spine. And now we have the same thing going on here basically, where we can adjust, you know, we can still adjust the curve if we see some imperfections, but I think it already kind of looks really cool. So let's go ahead and make it furry. So again, we go on to Effect, we go on to Distort and Transform, and then we go on to Roughen. And Roughen basically creates this texture. Let me go a little bit closer so we can have a closer look on what exactly the Roughen effect changes. So again, Distort and Transform, Roughen. So as you can see, it already kind of has a lot of texture, but we can still even, you know, increase the texture here. And we can add more detail, and that's when it becomes really nice and furry. But feel free to experiment with this, you know. And here you can also set it to smooth so that, you know, the ends of the hairs are not that spiky, but a little bit more rounded. Okay, I want to add a lot of detail, and that makes it really nice and furry. And as you can see, I have this amazing shape here going on already that kind of is really cool. I can really play with those things and, you know, kind of make them float around in my poster. So let's say I want to make them put them a little bit more into the background. I can also, you know, reduce the opacity, and then I can put back my yes here, and the yes will kind of, you know, take the foreground. I'm going to arrange it to the front, and now the yes is kind of more in the foreground, and you can see that, you know, first when you look at that. So now my my little things, my little furry strings are kind of looking out of the poster. So I want to what I want to do is I just want to cut, you know, make them seamless so they don't look out of the poster. So I'm going to mask them. I'm going to use the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to make a rectangle right around the poster. And I'm going to select this rectangle. I'm going to hold shift and click on both of these you know, strings, and what I'm going to do is on the right side you will find make clipping mask. You can either click that, or you can right click and click make clipping mask, and now our furry strings are not visible beyond the poster anymore. So this kind of helps you to kind of create a seamless look and use this mockup correctly. Alright guys, I'm so excited about your submissions. Let me quickly share with you the Discord link where you can submit your artwork. It's right here. And let's quickly take a look at our Discord app. So let me quickly log in here. Alright. And we're going to our Discord channel where we have our big community of designers, fellow designers, and here's where we share our work. So we have different Discord channels. We have them for the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. Let me actually share my work screen. So you go into discord.com, and then you will find, actually the link is in the page that I was showing you before, the Discord channel page. There you will find the link to this page. Alright, so here we have different channels. We have the Adobe Illustrator channel. I'm also on the Adobe Photoshop channel, and there is also an XD one. So now we have 3 different creative challenges that you can, you know, participate in. So we're here in the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, and if we click on the challenge tab, this is exactly where we are submitting our artworks. And as you can see, there is a lot of people who already kind of submitted their, you know, their past challenges. Also, feel free to you know, if you see this and it's already the next day of our challenges together, feel free to post yesterday's challenge as well. So this is where you basically post your artwork, and we have our friendly mentors here that you can see. I'm also one of them. By the way, I'm going to be reviewing about in about an hour. I'm going to be reviewing your designs, and maybe if you submit your artwork, I can give you some feedback. Make sure to tag me if you want me to specifically give you some feedback. Otherwise, we have a lot of friendly mentors here who will kind of give you feedback and help you out. So now we have our file, right, set up. To export it, you go onto File and Export as. Or you can also go onto File, Export for screens, which makes it optimized for screens. So I wanted to export my artboard too, let's say, and actually you don't really have to edit anything over here. So I'm going to export the artboard, and I already have it in my in my folder from the Creative Cloud. I have a specific folder that kind of creates automatically, and this is my artwork that I've created today with you guys. So I'm really looking forward to your submissions. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, and feel free to replay this if you kind of want to follow along the steps again. Darius, you're welcome. Alberto, Alberto, the first 5 minutes we talked, Yeah, we talked about Baugasm. Yeah, I think Baugasm has really amazing, way of designing things, and his approach is also to design something every single day. And that's also something that we want to kind of have, and we want to kind of get inspired, learn a new tool every single day, and that kind of helps us to, realize what tools are there. And I'm sure many of you probably have not even known about this effect that we've used today to create this furry type. So this can help you in the future to kind of create your artwork more more interesting, and expand your tool set, expand your skill set. That's what I'm always kind of talking about. I think it's really important to kind of learn everything every single day, and go step by step basically, and that's where you kind of go far. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining. I'm really, really thankful that you guys are here, and I see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, and make sure to submit the daily creative challenges. Bye-bye.